Hey, you're with TheEZGZ. Today's topic is going to be rear suspension and torsion bars. On the desert car that I recently purchased, it was claimed to have 26 millimeter torsion bars in the back, and they were running dual Fox shocks with reservoirs. And this is too stiff for my body weight, and I want you to take a look here. There's several things that don't jive with me here from my past experience. They're not using the stock bolts for one thing. On the end plate you can see where they use smaller bolts and nuts, which kind of tells me they had trouble with it, and they either stripped them out or they have tried to preload the spring too much. This is common practice, is to preload the spring, and you'll see here that this is a heavier than stock spring plate, and they've also mounted the shocks on here. This strap is supposed to keep the spring plate from popping off. If you get in a bad crash or something and everything flexes, moves over, these things can fall down here. I've seen that happen, especially if you're using a stock style spring plate. It can get an S shape to it. It's all about impact and energy. And what I want to do, you can see how this drops to the left a little bit, and I don't know if it's apparent with the tires, but only half of the tire is touching the ground, even with 10 pounds of air in them. And I don't want to have too much side flex. What you're doing here, this one I didn't mess with, I only jacked up the other side. You can see how it's cocked to the side. It's a 9.5 inch tire, but you got the rim sticking out here, and it's real easy if you catch air and come down. When you've got that little bit of an angle over there, and the tire comes down here with low tire pressure, to pop the bead, and there you sit with a flat tire. These can be a mother to reseat. I know they had a terrible time at the tire shop with that, and they had a special accessory tank with high pressure air to help blow it out, because these are stiff. And so I want to get it more level. It's going to cost me a little clearance, but for what I intend to do with this car, that's okay. It's okay with me. If you wanted maximum tire clearance, you might want to go with, an IRS bus transmission and 930 CV joints and blah, 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 blah. But I think this is just fine. It's a durable, simple, lightweight setup. We just need to get it dialed in for my body weight. And so what I'm going to do is take this cover off. I'm going to take a look at this, and when I reposition it, I'll turn the camera back on later, but I'm going to pull the spring plate back, de-energize the spring tension, see where we're at here, and make a decision then whether to stick with these. And I want to have a look also. Now these spring plates, you can only move them like a degree or so. There's notches, but one of the things that you'll notice here, you don't see it as much on this one as you do on that end here, but the stock one, you've got an inner and an outer, and the splines, the way the splines are pressed in here or formed in here, sometimes if you move it one notch on the outside, it's too far. So what you might want to do is go one notch on the outside and back the other way on the inside, and it kind of splits the difference. You have to play with it, and you'll see what I mean. So I'm going to turn you off and get busy here. Okay, I've wrapped the chain around the frame. It'd be better to do it from the shock absorber mount, but that's missing. And I did manage to lift it up and pull this stop mechanism out, which probably isn't really a bad deal. And we're going to kind of, oops. It should be sliding on the splines, but it's been there for so long it's kind of corroded in. See, it moves up. What I'm going to do, well, so much for playing with it this weekend. I broke it. Yep, fractured it right down here. And it's just frozen in there. Been there for so long. Ah, shit. That sucks. Well, guys, maybe it wasn't such a bad thing after all. This is the same side of the car that had that cracked brake drum. And when you look down it like this way, I'm not sure if this was the heat or it had some problems in the past. It looks like this may have been a crack here. And I also noticed right down here there's a crack. Goes clear through to this side here. I don't know how that's gonna show up there, but right there where my finger is, it cracked. It goes all the way through right there. And oh, look at that! This is broke off as well. Never noticed that either. That may have something to do with when they welded it. I don't know. So, you know, there's the thickness of it, and it's bent up here. I got a feeling that whole thing may have taken a hit, and he gave me a broken transmission with it too. Now here's a replacement that I never did use. I've had these for years, and so all I'd have to do is weld my mount here across the top, and this looks to be, oh, these are Sway-Away brand too. Good. Here's that Sway-Away torsion bar, the 26 that came out of there. And I guess I'm really not, you know, sometimes you you run into a wall like that and it's like, oh shit, now what do I do? You know, it's the same thing as having that flat tire on the highway. You just have to pause a minute, get your thoughts together, calm down, walk away from it, and decide what, you know, what your options are. And I can put either one of these. I can put the stock spring plate on here without the torsion bar, and put the wheel and axle on and move it around here and put it in the garage, whatever I need to do. So that's not going to be an issue. And just have to figure out how I want to do this. I wonder if there's enough room to... it looks like it's right over the boat hull. Yeah. And then there's the casting on the back. A lot of options, but I did make some progress here, and I'll keep you posted. Yeah, I wondered what this was on there for, and now I see. I suspect it was some kind of a patch on top of a crack. Let's see if this side's got it. Huh. And it's right by that shock mount. I don't know if that was precautionary. It's got the same thing. It goes down. It's exactly the same setup. Well, it could have been cracked on both sides. Maybe it'd just be worthwhile to just replace them both, you know? I don't know. But better to find out here at home in the driveway than out on the trail. They use these American bolts to go through there, and I just detest when people mix metric and American on cars, stuff like this, man. So what I did is chased it with a tap. The threads were still there, surprisingly. They don't get a lot of stress in that particular situation. And just came back from the hardware store. I bought the correct size bolts, so I will put the cover back on with that. This had Sway-Away urethane grommets. I had the rubber stock style. I could see on here where this thing had never gone down more than just an inch or so, and it was bending the shit out of stuff. So let's loosen it up. This stop, where was that aluminum thing? That was on, oops, pretty nice little piece right here. That was on there like so. Okay, and then that sort of, well, it's not in all the way. You can see that that's got to go in farther. That was a lot of work. So At this point in time, I've taken out the urethane bushings, the extra heavy thick bent sway away spring plate, also from the side that came with the cracked drum. I have a pair of replacement sway away bars that I've had for ages. God, back, I don't know when I bought these things. Had some nightmare, but it didn't cost me any money. What I decided to do was put in a stock spring plate. It's a little bit thinner, and I took out the 26 millimeter bar, which is the blue one here, and I put in a 27 millimeter bar. And basically, I'm telling you, I didn't have preload. I put it in so it was just below the stop. And now, when you look at it from the back here, you know, there's a little bit less play. Now, let's see if I can set the camera on something. So now I'm standing here. This is where I want it. This is my ride height. I don't want to be running on the outside of the tire. I can see the whole rim moving, see? The suspension's moving. I could jump up and down like this before, it wouldn't move. And this is a bigger bar. So, I don't know what the heck to tell you about that. Too much preload and it won't move. And that's what they did. They had that thing like a notch farther, maybe two. Man, they had a hell of a time getting that thing into position. Before, there was nothing. It was hard on that bottom stop, and it wouldn't move. Now, of course, that shock isn't mounted. I'm going to have to make a shock mount. I might make something that bolts to these and rides along the outside edge and comes up rather than weld on this. Maybe that welding is what changed the temper. That's supposed to be like a spring plate, spring steel, because it broke off here. There's a crack here. And then when I was taking it off, this broke. And I've done some amazing shit to these things in the past. I'd never had a problem with those things doing that. So either it was brittle because it was too hard. Yeah, you know how it goes. You know how it goes. So, yeah, I'm glad we're getting this done. And I put the stock rubbers, brand new stock rubbers in. Boy, they were kind of hard to get in. But that makes it nice and quiet and smooth. I am not a racer. This race car is retired, just like me. So, we're just going to have a little fun buggy that's comfortable and reliable. And go visit some of our old fonts. Now see how this one's got a little bit more of a down travel to it. Now, I can stand on this side. I haven't done this side yet. That's the shock making that clicking noise. That's amazing. A wound up 26, and here I've got more of a relaxed 27. I found in my sand rail, I started with the stock 22s. Are those? Yeah, let's get those all side by side so you can see them. Here's another set, see? So the red ones are stock. See how the end bulges out here? I don't have a caliper. And then this is a 26, and this is the 27. And these are already, I had these in my sand rail for years, and I thought, you know, I'm getting beat up, so I put 25s in there, and that was an ultralight sand rail. And I think I could say that with all honesty. That was an ultralight. That thing was just about 900 pounds. And this one's considerably more. But we're going to keep shaving some weight here and there. And find all its little quirks. And we're going to correct what we can. It'd be nice to just have one shock. Lots of things to look at and consider here. Be fun. It is fun. And it's fun having you along with me too. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subbing. Easy Jeezy, out.